let's look what I have suggested as an idea today. And if you want to see what happened before, you just scroll down. It really started quite a while ago, more than half a year. And every one of our sessions were recorded and they were put in there. So if you're interested in where the whole thing is, then you go to Elephant Scale. And on Elephant Scale, you go to webinars right here. And that's where you see all of the webinars. So it started at Hugging Face a while ago. But after that, more popular things, let's put it this way, more and more popular things happened. That's where it is all recorded. Okay, I'm closing that, and I think that was enough introductions. I'm just starting on the agenda. Now, you see news and you see practice. That's the usual format. First, we discuss what's new, what's interesting, what came out. And secondly, we do a lab, at least one lab, to do something real. We do it in Colab, and so everybody can join the fun. So first of all, there happened to be a Pinecone conference. Of course, it was in San Francisco, but of course it is available to us. So I open it first. And you know what? If I bump into some video that has a sound and I want you to hear that sound, then I should share with that. So I stop share, okay? I share again. And this time I share with the sound. So if we bump into a video with the sound, you will have the sound as well. Now, that conference, you can see, by the way, that the numbers are not amazing, right? But to me, that is the most important thing that you could watch, even though we're talking about hundreds and maybe 1,000. Let's look at what we have. That's the whole conference right here. That whole conference happened. Just a new thing that came from Pinecone. I guess I'm looking Pinecone, right? And it has 10. You see, has about 10 presentations, and all of them to me are very important. So if you're in it, that's the place to be. Even though some people don't appreciate the importance of this show, but I'm telling you, it is important. And not that I need to promote it. Once you start listening, you'll see what I mean. Okay, I'm looking for the one where I got the most interesting things. They're all talking about how you build AI systems. And they're all talking about the practical problems and the guidelines on what they came up with. So it is all very useful if you're building such systems. And it's like digging for gold. It is a gold rush in California again. So it is like getting the tools for that. Now, let me look. That I haven't seen. That is hallucinatory unless proven otherwise. You need to verify, you need to test your systems. That's what he's talking about, but he's giving practical examples of what could happen and how we should fix it. The key to success, that is probably one of the most interesting. And he talks about his experience with the...
Welcome, everybody. It's fantastic to see.
Yes, fantastic to see all of that. All right, so that's enough. I think you have the link. And it changed my approach to many things. I also saw that many people are struggling with exactly the same problem that I have. What are the basic problems? Well, let's remember what is the basic approach today. You get a very powerful LLM, and that's just ChatGPT. That's all. Right now, there is nothing comparable to that. So you get one of those, but really only one LLM, and you use Pinecone with it. There are alternatives. There are alternatives to ChatGPT, and there are alternatives to Pinecone. But let's assume that is the best. All right. Now, so you target your ChatGPT as the angel. But it turns out that it's not that easy. You cannot send a very long question to any LLM because it limits how much you can send. And then practically, you would probably only confuse it. Even if you were able to send, let's say, 20,000 words, that will probably just confuse it. So you need to send it just the right documents. Where do you get them? From Pinecone. You take your document and you send them to Pinecone, and then you will query Pinecone for give me exactly the right documents. Now, obviously, we're still back to where we started. The right documents may be too long, and so you need to break it up. You need to chunk them when you store in Pinecone, and then you will be able to ask your questions. All right, I hope so far you're with me in the sense that you agree so far. Well, chunking is a tremendously important, and it's a common problem. That's what everybody's struggling with right now. And I thought I'm the only one. I thought everybody knows magically exactly how to do this chunking. No, no. And every time it's different. It's what makes your system successful, chunking it the right way. I'll give you a few examples. So let's say I'm building one of my hobby projects. I see the chat and no, you're not only watching the YouTube. No, you should be seeing my screen. You should see my screen. And I was giving you an example. Now, I'm always based on Talmud Illuminated. That's my own site and the result of quite a lot of work. And it talks about every page of the Talmud, and that's about 2711 pages. But each individual one, and let's say we are in Kiddushin, that's marriages today, we have this text. That's what I'm sending to ChatGPT. Now, regular strategies of chunking don't apply here. First of all, because regular strategies go paragraph by paragraph. In that example, each individual paragraph will be too much separated from the rest. I know the nature of the data. Each of these pages is a little essay on itself. It is cohesive, it's relying on what was said previously. So I found out that the best way to break it up is to take it one page at a time and exactly one page. Any other page, let's go to another page, that will look similar. So in my case, it gives us very good results. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, the good results I found here in Moses AI. And if I say, tell us about marriage, then it will work pretty well. And it's improving, not because I'm improving it, but because ChatGPT is improving. So somehow it gets exactly the right amount, mostly based on my content, which I first load into Pinecone, then ask Pinecone about what is relevant, and then I send that. Now, we'll talk about this. That's pretty slow, isn't it? We're all used to much faster. Okay, we say that's ChatGPT, maybe it won't be fast, but I have something for you, which says that it will be fast. Well, I'm waiting for a few more seconds. It probably is giving us a good essay, and here it is. All right, that's what I do to show you that chunking your data and preparing it in the right way is not an easy problem, and I was very happy to discover that it's not an easy problem for everybody. So another example. Another example is with the legal startup that I'm working with. It's called Casify, and it's amazing what it's doing to the legal profession. Because let's say a lawyer gets 200 pages of police report and doesn't have the time to read it. So you can imagine how easy and excitedly nice life is when you can send these 200 pages to ChatGPT and just ask it. In other words, you go here, you upload all your documents per case, and you look at a document, just for example. Well, that requires OCR. The regular strategy of breaking it into paragraphs works. So that's not a problem. But OCR must be of the best possible quality because you don't want to misrecognize or misrepresent some word just because OCR didn't work. So that's one. That one. Another thing is that very often you get the OCR, well, the document, let's say, upside down. And you need to make sure that your software converts it to a regular presentation because ChatGPT is not that smart. It doesn't read upside down. So you should take care of that. We also transcribe the records. So you can give it hundreds of hours of recordings and let ChatGPT sort through that. Then I'm doing some interesting things about the special laws. And the law is if there is a witness who says that, you know, another guy did it, that's important. That invokes a separate law. So that's what I'm testing with there. And that leads me to think that I need additional set of rules in another set of documents. That's the problems that we're dealing with. To make your ChatGPT really serve well, you need all of this practical details, and that's what you add on. That's why your application becomes smart. So that's one thing that I got from there. Another thing that I got from there is I'm trying to see which one is that, but you know, guys, you will be able to find one. It's if I can find what it was, it's a way, it's a platform that streams that streams your answers. So your Moses AI won't be waiting. It will stream every word. That's not an easy thing, but they've done it. So if you go there and listen to this, you will find one of them that makes everything live. Now, that seems like, should I care the usable weight? But in today's day and age, you know that every second counts, and the user may just go away. So that's what you will get from this, and that's what I wanted to show you the very first thing. Okay, we're right here, and I need to maybe verify that we're good. I want to make everybody being able to talk. Here you are. So I'm giving everybody a chance to talk. And if I don't do something right, you will tell me now. Okay, very good. So that is number one, the Pine Conference, where you will have a lot of useful materials, and I already told you why it is useful. Now, the next interesting thing is that Andrew A. seems to be putting out courses at the rate of one a week. And that's his latest. So let's look at his latest course here. As you can see, I logged into my account, but the courses are all free. So the last 3-4 months, maybe, all these courses are free. I don't know what they make money on, but that's their problem. Our problem is, what is this? So it turns out that, again, Andrew invited a lot of third-party developers, and they're all bringing useful new additional frameworks and systems to help. This one is about Cohere, and Cohere gives you a choice of whether you want a regular search or whether you want a semantic search. Now, today, in most cases, you will want a semantic search, so the choice is more or less of a joke. But I'm trying to find that first allows you, that Cohere allows you, not I on mute, but they on mute. Okay, it allows you to do the regular search, the keyword search, and they explain why that's not good, but there are situations where it's good. And then they take you into the world of semantic search. So that's an alternative. You can use Pinecone with Cohere, or you can use Pinecone with another library, which we already touched on. But that, of course, that is getting you deeper and deeper knowledge about all of that. Again, the course is great. It's by the designers of this Cohere.
Welcome to lesson 1. In this lesson, you will learn how to use installs Weaviate client. Welcome to lesson 1.
I really wanted the guys, but it doesn't show me the guys. Okay, now the links to those important things are still here. Go to this advances and you find this course right here, and it's wonderful. I'm going through that. It's just the same as with the previous course. The previous course was how do you build system, and you debug the AI build systems, and lo and behold, there already was a supporting infrastructure. It was called R&B or DNB, evaluating and debugging generative AI. But it was built on a company that's, again, in San Francisco, does the great job of having 100,000 users, gives you the library, and so on. That was last week. This week is this learning language models and the new approach. So in my case, I found that is to be exactly true. I'll show you why. Okay, going back to the startup Casify. So they ask a question, what's the nature of the crime? Let's do that. And by the way, let's look at when was the last index built. It says it was built. So what is the nature? Same architecture as I told you. Pinecone, it asks, okay, doesn't provide. So you need to build the index, and that index takes all the documents, send them over to the Pinecone. Meanwhile, you wonder why it doesn't know. For example, the lawyers are used to ask a question, well, that's criminal law, I remind you, and the most important thing that people do is either try to kill somebody or they drive drunk, or both. So they usually ask, was there a test and was it properly administered, and all of that. And they have an abbreviation like field test, FT something, and it doesn't know. By the way, it's done. Let's try to ask about the nature of the crime again. So if it doesn't know, then you're left guessing why he doesn't understand, or I'm using abbreviation. So what you really need, you need to have a search interface. Okay, now it knows, it talks about what it is, but that's not enough, because that's a running system in the dark. I don't understand why it does what it does. I need to add here a second tab, which will be a search tab. So then I will have this as the ask a question about your data, and this is will search your data. And we're going back. It's interesting. We started from search, and then we said, no, there's this new revolution, AI. But now we realize both are useful. So that's where we are. That's where we are. We get exactly the tools that we need, and we get learning that we need. And there's an amazing world where all the learning is free. And here we're talking. Now, well, let's do that. We said, well, practical, what we do? Well, practically, I'm offering you a lab. Let's do this. That lab will come up for you in case you click on that. Okay, so you click there and you get to the lab. That lab will be about inferring sentiment analysis from product reviews. And it will teach us exactly how to do it. Now you can run it. And you can run it by downloading this raw file, okay? Verifying that it is downloaded. In my case, I'm on the Mac, so it goes into my download folder here, inferring here. And now I need to run it somewhere, and the very easy way for us to run it is by uploading it into Colab. So let us do this, exactly that. We go to Colab, which is found right here. Colab itself, that link is right here. So you click on that, you cancel out this dialog that comes up, and you say, upload my notebook that Mark just gave me. All right, upload the notebook. Choose the file, and it will be right here because it was just downloaded right there. And it is right here. So let us start. Of course, I prepared here the dragons a little bit because it will not run out of the box, but I'll tell you what you need to do. All right, so here I am, and I am running this one. Now, running this one requires, I don't have still a place to click. Instead, for running this cell, I am doing Shift Run, and it works. But on the other hand, I don't really need to run anything. I just read it. So that's what the lesson will be about. The next step, it will not work. First of all, let me prove that it will not work. Okay, it doesn't work as expected because this module is not here. Well, if it's not here, install it. What you do is you're saying pip install OpenAI. Oh no, not the key, but OpenAI. Okay, now it's installing. And I am very treacherously not putting that instruction for people to do it on their own. So they will ask questions. Next step is, okay, we installed this, import OS works, no problem. Then .environment. The .environment is for running locally where you have the .env file. That's where your credentials are. We don't need it. We take it out. And all we need is the key. And even that key, we just give to you. So you need the real key here, right? Well, I'll give you the key. And by the way, I will also show you exactly how you do this. I'm checking on the chat if anybody wants to say anything while we're doing this. I'll check it, but no. So you need the key, which I will give you by going to platform, OpenAI, logging in, and I am actually already logged in, and going view my keys right here. These are my keys, and by the way, that key I forgot to revoke. That was last time. And today it's 8:18. So I create a new key. I call it 8-18 and copy that. I copy that and I put it, so I'm done. That's the only time when I could copy that. So if I didn't copy it right, I'll have to create another one. But here I'm simply putting this key. Now, first I verify that it works. Okay, seems to work. But we can go just a couple steps further to verify that it works, and then I'll come back and I will explain what exactly is working. But that key seems to have worked. It gives us the results, and I'm giving you the key. Isn't that nice? Chat on ChatGPT, I'm giving you the key, which you can just put into your notebook. So if you are following along and if you're doing this, then you downloaded the notebook and you also have this key. After that, you run the lab and you run it at my expense. And let's look now at what the lab does. All right. So it starts with the usual ender way of importing the key and then giving you the little helper function, the completion, get completion, where you're saying use this model. That model is defined as GPT-4. Then you're saying you have a few rows and some of them will be used for forming the prompt and some of them will be used to say who you are. But that is what you need to give it. And when you're going to use that, then you simply give it the prompt and ask for the response. Okay, now the technicalities are out of the way. Now what you do is this. You take this lamp review. Somebody wrote, I needed a nice lamp and all that stuff that people write. And you don't want to read. And you just ask ChatGPT to do it for you. So two parts. You need the text itself, you need the actual review, and you need to tell it what to do with it. So the actual review is called, in this case, LAMP review, but the what to do with it is called prompt. Now, you use a Python way of giving it the string. You say 3 quotes to start, and then the string, maybe with the continuation mark, the backslash, and then another 3 quotes. That's a complete Python string. After that, you're saying, this is my prompt, but I'm inserting this LAMP review into my prompt. So that becomes a complete question. That's what is, for me at least, it's pretty hard to give it a complete question of that sort when I'm just talking to ChatGPT. So if we start talking to ChatGPT, you have a piece of code that you wanted to analyze, and you also want to tell it what to do. This is the code that analyzes this, solves this problem. So you have the prompt, you have included your LAMP review in there, and you're telling it what you want. What is the sentiment of the following product review, which is delimited with triple back ticks? You see, you're precise. It also teaches you how to express your thought precisely. So you express your thought, you want the sentiment of this review, and it comes back and says the sentiment of the product review is positive. Well, if you want, you can read the review and say, yeah, it was really positive. But let's continue with this lab. We will not go to the very end probably, but we'll do a few items out of here. And that is give the answer as a single word, positive or negative. If you remember the times when you created these models and trained them yourselves, And it was all pretty hard. And that was the result. Well, now we are telling ChatGPT just imitate the olden days, but now we are much smarter. All right, let's run it. Let's see if it will give us just one word as an answer. It says positive. Now, maybe you want it to do something else. Maybe you want to say, identify a list of emotions that the writer had. That's an interesting. Like people say, I expected this, but it really gladdened my heart to do that. But then I realized that it fooled. That is what we want now. So satisfaction first, appreciation, relief, happiness, and trust are very nice emotions. What could be better, right? But there is a anger part. So was there anger? No, there wasn't. So let's remember this Zen story where the master, when the student came to the master and said, you know, I'm angry. I'm trying to remove it, but it doesn't, con it controls me. And the teacher asked me, okay, show me your anger. And the student said, it's not here right now. It just comes on you whenever it comes. Then your anger is not here. And it's not a natural part of you, and you can work on that. That was he answered. That's from Zen Flesh and Bones. But now it's a good time to do this. I'll stop talking and I'll stop sharing screen because we covered. So 1 second. Did we cover what we wanted? These are the news and pointers on what you guys can learn. And this is an exercise and it should work for you. And my projects update, I was mentioning them as we went along. I was telling you that's what I'm doing, that's the current problems, that's how it relates to the learning, and that is what I plan to do. So we covered it, and therefore I can stop share and ask you for any questions. Here. Okay, you might want to know something else. What's in the future? I can tell you at least one interesting thing that I didn't mention, and that is, and allowed everybody to talk now, is that is philosophically speaking, ChatGPT is bringing peace in the world. In the sense that if somebody asks me a question, a political question, let's say, and that's a charged question, then I don't answer. I say, let's see what Moses AI has to say, or let's see what ChatGPT has to say. And all the bad emotions go away. All right, now we have from Lawrence, and very interesting stuff from Lawrence. Let's look. I volunteered at DEF CON's AI Village, and it was fun and very, very busy. Talks and slides will be eventually uploaded to the AI Village, but that's only eventually. Let's put it into our outline. Let's go back to share. Let's go back to share the screen. And here we are. And we're preparing our work for the next session. So I'm taking Lawrence's link and I'm putting it here. Then keeping reading here. News articles, and AI Village testing. New York Times, okay, here and here. So let me do this. That's all very interesting. I will copy the whole thing and I will put it into our into our outline of what we're going to do. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Okay. Why W? I don't know. That probably means something. Now, going back to the discussion on chunking, do you use classification of documents to narrow down to those relevant? So let me try to answer your question. And that is, I don't use classification. I allow, you're welcome, thank you. I allow ChatGPT to figure that out. So my search is a syntactic search. Semantic, right? Semantic search. It groups the documents and it then is able to find the documents that answer exactly my query. So first is I put the documents after chunking, put them into Pinecone, and in Pinecone, I can issue a query that will find document that it will answer this question, not by keywords, but by meaning. So that's my alternative to classification. So Jerome, I hope I answered this question, but if not, then we can continue. And then we have more interesting stuff from Arthur. Okay, so let's open that.
You've got this new tool, right, that's up and compare the plethora of large language models that are out.
Okay, and I will put it for our discussion next week here. Thank you very much to Arthur. And it seems that it's your tool, right? So we will look at that tool as well. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Right. I think we're doing good now. And we have a great input from you guys. So I have put it on our next agenda, but I will go through that. I will make sense for myself and we'll do something about them. Use them, include them, argue with them, something. All right. Well, thank you very much. I see more questions and answers. Okay. Well, let me wish you everybody, let me wish you a great evening and a great weekend and a great month and a great year. Okay. Be well, and I'll talk to you next week.
Same to you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye.
Mark.
Thank you, everybody. I see your names very fast, but I know who you are. So thank you very much. Be well.